fighting through internet connection problems again between here and Modain. We're going to try to do another Israel update. How you doing, Hanok?
I'm doing okay. It's actually just a couple of days before I leave for the US.
Oh,
Um, so kind of the heat is on when you're trying to do two PowerPoint presentations, different topics simultaneously. So it's kind of a challenge for me, I have to tell you, in the
okay.
midst of everything else.
Yeah, and I heard it's raining quite a bit there.
We had storms like you wouldn't believe.
Hmm.
And I think I had mentioned to you that I was going to take a group to
Yeah,
Masada
yeah.
and Ain Gedi and the Dead Sea. To go to Masada in the pouring rain was and when I say pouring rain, I mean it was really driving rain cold.
Hmm.
That was interesting. Ain Gedi closed
Yeah, of course.
because of the danger of rock slides. Our bus encountered a few rock slides. They were the
Hmm.
smaller rocks, so it was okay. Then you see um, what's the word in English? Flash floods.
Hmm.
The water bursting through the mountains, coming down to 90.
Wow.
It was a challenge. It was a
Hmm.
challenging day.
Yeah, I've been down there in
But
that kind of situation, and it can be a little scary.
it really was. It
Hmm.
really was. And I'm glad it's over. So unfortunately, the next time I guide is the very end of February
Oh
when I'm
wow.
back. So
Okay. Okay. Well, you'll be in the States and various places here. Is any of that on your website or what are you doing this? I
not
haven't
yet,
had a chance to look
not
at it.
yet.
Okay.
I am so far behind. Hopefully, by the time I leave, I'll have one of these, save the dates prepared
Okay.
with the details on the website.
Okay.
And it's a handful of locations. So the people in those communities at this point generally know that I'm coming.
Hmm.
And, so
Okay, good.
it,
Is it just me or does it seem kind of quiet in Israel right now? There's just I keep up with the news on a daily basis, but it just seems like there's not a lot happening.
actually, we kind of see it in the reverse.
Okay.
The All the government coalition things are done. The government is going to be sworn in. So now we know who all the ministers are. Now
Okay.
we know what all the deals are. The question is, what will this government actually do or not do?
Hmm.
For those who think that the government's going to rush out and start declaring sovereignty in Area C in Yehuda and Shomron, Judea and Samaria, ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
However, they just, because they're the majority, they're pushing through laws already,
Okay.
including that Aryeh Deri, who is a convicted criminal, can be both interior minister and health minister.
Wow.
Uh, so that's really bad news. That Itamar Ben Gvir is now this national security minister who has unprecedented authority over the police. That's going to be intriguing. Then we have some other member of the Knesset who wants to pass a law stating that you can deny providing service for people who you feel offend your religious sensibilities.
Okay.
So if someone walks in, if you're a physician and someone walks in and you say, well, you're a lesbian and I don't think that's cool based on my religious beliefs, get out of here.
Hmm.
So how something like that would work in a democracy, I have no idea. So there are more question marks than ever before. Yesterday, we did catch the terrorist who did the two bus bombings in
Yeah.
Jerusalem recently.
Yeah.
Turns out he is, quote, an Israeli Arab
Imagine that.
from the area around Jerusalem. I almost choke when I say that, but and in his case, degree in mechanical engineering, supporter of ISIS, and he figured out how to set up bombs and create them. And he actually was supposed to plant another bomb after the first one that went off and killed 2 people. So when the first responders and the medical teams were there,
Okay.
it would go off and injure them.
Wow.
Fortunately, he wasn't able to do that. So
Wow.
this is crazy nuts cuckoo things. There's a lot of saber rattling going on between us and Lebanon.
Hmm.
Supposedly a prisoner exchange with Hamas is in the offing, and you say, what prisoners do they have? They have bodies of our soldiers.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is really,
They don't keep.
a very low caliber human being.
They don't really keep prisoners there too much, do they?
There was of course, the Gilad Shalit situation for quite a number of years.
Yeah.
But no, it's really, um, it's a crazy nuts cuckoo
Yeah.
situation.
It
The
is.
world seems to be losing their mind.
Hmm.
I keep reading these articles from the world press, particularly the New York Times, that speak about, Israel's extreme right-wing government. There are only 2 right-wing parties in the government: Otzma Yehudit, Itamar Ben-Gvir, and religious Zionism, Bezalel
Yeah.
Smotrich. Likud is a centrist party, and the Haredi parties, the ultra-Orthodox parties, are simply the let's make a deal
Yeah.
parties.
Yeah. Well, he who controls the language, controls the narrative, controls the
It's
thought
very true.
processes of people. And that's all they're trying to do these days.
So, of course, you had reform and conservative Reconstructionist rabbis, and I put
Hmm.
that in quote because, I mean, to me, it's like, they may have excelled at the game of Monopoly, but they're certainly not rabbis,
Yeah.
um, have already decreed that they don't want any of their synagogues opening their doors to either Minister Ben-Gvir or Minister Smotrich, because these clowns in U.S. congregations feel that they're too extremist.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to deny a minister of the government of Israel because they don't like their religious views. It's
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
Yeah, it
Now,
is.
not that it matters. And when you hear like American Jews don't, who cares?
Yeah.
They're not in the game. They've got no skin in the game. They don't even donate money anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Forget about them.
Yeah. Well, I was talking with someone that happened to not too long ago. They ran into someone that's part of the so-called Jewish congregation here in Franklin, and in
Oh,
conversation they said, "Oh, so are you preparing for Passover?" And they said, and this Jewish lady says, "Is it that time of year again?" So yeah, it's just it's ironic. But Hanok, I
yeah.
see though in the news that the Ministry of Tourism has gotten wind of the Connect to Israel tour that is going to be now visiting the pools of Siloam, and because of our going down there, now they're going to start doing more excavation. Is that true?
It's it is absolutely true, and the narrative that you're relating is correct. I mean, after we were there, I went and I sent an official letter as a licensed tour guide saying, the people in our group want to know why they can't see more. I mean, we've had this for a long time already. And they said, we're sorry. We apologize for the delay, and they're going to get on it.
Well,
And sure
good.
enough,
Good. Yeah.
amazing.
And people, we probably ought to preface this that we do need to go back to Exodus chapter 20 and maybe read that verse on bearing false witness, because everything we just said, except for the fact that they are excavating the pools of Siloam, was absolute baloney, to use a very kosher
Well,
term.
the fact that we weren't pleased that we couldn't see more is also true.
Well, that's true. That's true. So,
But that's okay.
give us a little bit of
That's okay.
insights into this excavation, what it's going to mean, and what is the when
Well,
is
you know, it's
possibility of
interesting.
when it's open?
Okay. No guesstimate about when it's open because they haven't started the excavation yet.
Mm-hmm.
In the same way that at Ir David, the city of David, they have for years now announced the opening of the Pilgrim's Road, the road that went up from the city of David all the way up to the Har HaBayit, the Temple Mount, to the temple.
Mm-hmm.
But only small sections of that, most of which are incredibly uncomfortable to walk through,
Mm-hmm.
are open. But they announced the opening years ago.
Uh-huh.
In the same way that the Davidson Center on the Southern Steps was supposed to finish their renovations quite a number of months ago. I asked them recently when I was there, and they looked at me and they said, "Ein lanu musag," which means we have no clue.
Yeah. Yeah.
I appreciated the honesty,
Oh, sure.
but I was hoping for more of a date, within my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. But that does lead us to a point that we are going to be spending some time in at what is currently has been excavated in the pools of Siloam. That's going to be part of our Connect Israel tour. So one of the numerous
sure, absolutely,
changes, additions that are being made to it.
yeah. I look forward to Connect every year, but the anticipation that I have for this coming year, November 5th through 17th,
Mm-hmm.
2023, is more so because of all the changes that we're making and the additions and what we're offering. And even places that we're staying are different.
Yeah, it
So very
is.
exciting.
It is. And just to give people an idea, I am working on the kind of the final stages of the connectisrael.org website. We've got just a little bit more that needs to be done there before we have registration open. Should be, Bezrat Hashem, God willing, with His help, it should be next week sometime that we have all of that online. And we're going to be adding an extra day in Yerushalayim. That's going to be
Big
exciting.
stuff.
A lot going
Big
on
stuff.
there. And for those that are wondering about the price, well, I can't announce it exactly yet, but it appears that we've been able to actually give more to the people that are coming, and possibly even lower the price a little bit. So anyone that's been looking
Amazing.
for the possibility of when's the prices of anything coming down, we've done some work on that, and it looks like we're going to be able to do that
Right.
to help people out.
Yeah, it'll be great. And the irony is we were never an expensive tour,
Oh no.
ever.
Oh no. Oh, no.
Quite the opposite. So
Yeah.
this is even better. So hopefully, if there's anyone that's kind of on the borderline there, this will cause them to jump aboard.
Yeah, we should be able to receive deposits next week, is what my plan is going to be. One of the ways that we're going to be able to decrease this a little bit, there'll be an option of you'll be able to pay for this by check in the mail instead of using a credit card, which if anybody that knows anything about credit cards, it's about a 3%. So we're going to actually be able to shave a little bit off of that. People want to add the extra, and for convenience, that's one thing. But I know that people, not everybody's made of money out there. Very few people are, in fact. In fact, I've never actually met anyone that's made of money. So
Yeah, that's
we've
one of
done
those
it.
great expressions. Yeah,
Yeah, we're going to do our part to help everybody out as best as we possibly can.
no, that's fabulous. So yeah, at a time, at a juncture in history where people really need to step up, they really need to show their level of commitment. It's great that we've been able to work on making these changes happen, and the price even better right at a time where more people need to step forward and commit.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. There are people out there that are not able to go. One reason or another is not an excuse; it's a reason.
No,
And
yeah, legitimate reason. Right.
there's a big difference between excuses and reasons. The two get kind of
Absolutely.
confused, but there's a lot of difference, and I think people know when their reason is just merely an excuse. But for those that have a reason, you can't go for some reason, but you can help somebody else. They can also email me directly. Give me a call, whatever. Go to my website, which is tagged on the end of this broadcast. You can email me, call me, and you can give a scholarship. You can help people out, and
Yeah,
any money
it's a
that comes
wonderful idea.
in and says scholarship, I don't take
Wonderful idea.
anything out of that. There's nothing. It goes
No,
directly to that. It doesn't go to our ministry needs, nothing. It will go directly to scholarships.
fabulous. Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
So you're taking off pretty soon. You're heading this way across into the
Yeah.
diaspora,
It's interesting, but it's really, as you said it so many times, it's the galut, it's the exile. Diaspora is this term of dispersion,
huh? Hmm.
but there's a really interesting element when you study Jewish history. We have never been in a situation where the Jewish communities outside of Israel are on the ascent
Hmm.
at the same time that the community of Israel in Israel is on the ascent.
Mm.
It's either one or the other. So when we experienced a massive depopulation for about 1800 years,
Hmm.
Jewish communities around the world thrived.
Yeah.
Now that we've got close to 7 million Jews in Israel, I can't see a single Jewish community anywhere in the world that is in a healthy state, let alone has a future.
Hmm. Yeah, I totally agree with you 100% on that one. We're in these just quickly. We're in these Torah portions, which I think the Torah portions we're reading are probably some of your favorite too, along with
Well,
mine.
they have been favorites over the years.
Yeah.
Um, a little less so to some of the people who have really misunderstood the Joseph and his brothers interaction and what it
Hmm.
might mean for us. But for those who really have their heart and their head straight, it's very exciting. Of course, it's exciting. How could it not be?
Of
It's the
course.
formation of the nation of Israel.
Yeah, no doubt. I've got some, and I should have probably warned you a question, but it just came to me. I've been, I was teaching through this, and these Torah portions are really fascinating to me. The whole story of Joseph and uh, Joseph saying that he's looking for his brothers, and then and this Torah portion is the one that he actually reveals himself to the brothers as who he is. It's always been kind of a mystery to me of why Joseph sent for Jacob and told the family to come to Egypt instead of Joseph looking at the Pharaoh and saying, I've prepared for you pretty good for, in these years. There's going to be more years of famine, but you're on your own, buddy. I'm out of here. Is there any commentary that comes to your mind about that?
Nothing that I've read. It's a great question. It's a great question with a lot of ramifications. Off the top of my head, I'm not recalling anything, but it is one of those things that has always bothered me.
Hmm.
There are a couple of things throughout the Torah and particularly throughout the Tanakh that I read about, and I always sit back and I say, something here is not right.
Hmm.
Like for me, it's that moment in Megillat Esther, the scroll of Esther, where you've got, Mordechai encouraging his niece, it appears, to go and be one of the king's multitude of wives.
Yeah.
you know, eh, and the fact that so many people talk about it think it's a great thing, and I'm like, aren't y'all bothered by that at all? So it's real, and again, this is a family show, so we're going to just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But there are some who think that the process of going into galut, going into exile, was a necessary preparation one way or the other. I'm more intrigued by the fact that Abraham left the land,
Mm-hmm.
Yaakov, Jacob left the land, Yitzchak, Isaac never did. Never did.
Yeah.
The only one. And
Mm-hmm.
I would tend to guess the least popular of the three.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so that's interesting. Kind of like definitely further conversation.
Well, I guess in my mind it kind of brings up the concept that when the temple was destroyed in 70, some of the rabbinic teaching is that the Shekinah went into exile along with the Jewish people. So, this thought that Hashem himself not left Israel, but um, allowed himself to be dispersed into the nations.
The one thing about that, I mean, I've heard that's a very famous
Yeah.
midrash. The historical element is the majority of the Jewish people did not go into exile after the year 70.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the vast majority of Jews remained in Israel, fought in the Bar Kokhba rebellion, which was 65 years later. And it wasn't until the later Christian, early Islamic period
Yeah.
where vast numbers of Jews left. So it's also like, and the last place that the Shekhinah existed was the Western Wall, and didn't leave the Western Wall. But that's this whole fascination with the Western Wall, which
Yeah.
comes up in one of the two presentations that I'll be doing shortly
Well, good.
in the U.S.
Okay, excellent.
How exciting!
Well, I know you've got a lot to do, and I give people some thoughts there that we read things like that, and it's like anytime we look at something prophetic, the prophecies, I've taught that the best filter to look through prophecy is the filter of hindsight. But even with that filter,
No
it can
doubt,
be
no doubt.
difficult. Yeah, it can be difficult to even decipher some of the things that Hashem has done upon this earth.
Without a doubt, which is why we have to focus more on what we can do,
Mm-hmm.
and actually, our version of boots on the ground.
Yeah.
So, but we'll save that for next time.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Well, take care. Get yourself packed. I know that that's always something that you love to do.
It'll take a couple of days, for sure.
I know that. All right. Take care. See you later.
Take care, Mike. Regards. Bye-bye.